It's not just something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue anymore.
No, a lot of brides and grooms are breaking tradition and making their own wedding rules. So joining this morning to talk about what's trending is Martinson from ESTOccasions. Thanks so much. Now, we got this idea to have you come on because we saw a Huffington Post article that said people are really doing original things.
Yes.
We wanted to find out if people here in Connecticut are doing that as well.
Yes, everybody's still staying with a classic wedding, but adding in a trend or two to make it their own. Okay. You don't want to have a wedding that's just filled with
totally
trends.
Off the wall.
Yes, because then it actually won't be your wedding. It'll be a trendy wedding.
And people might be talking about it in a not so good way.
Exactly.
And there's always something that people have that they take away from a wedding that they just went to that was spectacular, that something that they really loved.
Exactly. And the point is to take something that works for you as a couple and use it in your own wedding, so when you look back at it, you don't think, wow, I was being silly. And
right.
I can't believe I did that.
Yes, exactly. Or like I wore that. So.
Right. All right, let's talk about some of the more trendier items. Okay. These here.
Very natural still. Definitely coming around, just keeps coming back. People like the grasses. Very simple. Just a clear vase, some candles around it. This are like sea urchins. These are good for having that ocean sort of natural look again.
And you have a table number there.
Table number.
Which is just left natural wood.
The plastic sort of wedding factory number 2 on a plastic thing doesn't work anymore. So put a 2. You can also use corks to make a number. You can use any sort of display. You know, you can actually name your tables by places that you've been or books that you love.
Something that's significant to the couple.
Yes. I have to imagine, even just with these items, that you can save, whereas, you know, spending a ton of money on flowers.
Exactly. And this is just a recycled bottle that's just been used, and anything that sort of speaks to you. Not every table has to be the same.
Right.
That's a trend that we're seeing. You can have many different sort of setups using a little bit of a classic touch to each of them, something that's cohesive, like the color or the grasses, but all the jars can be different.
Recently, I've been seeing a lot of table toppers with a picture of the couple just holding a number, a card.
That's
absolutely.
With a 2 or a 4 or a 7.
And it works, and people like to actually then wander around to all the tables to see all the pictures.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's really cute.
All right, so we're talking about now the cupcakes. Still very hot.
Cupcakes are very hot, and the nice thing about it is that you can actually offer your guests a huge range. These are from A Cupcake from Later, and they have, I think, 11 daily cupcakes. So imagine having a table spread that's filled with, you know, the peanut butter one, a chocolate-covered strawberry one, a coconut one, being able to offer so many different things, ones that are gluten-sensitive, ones that are sugar-free. It gives your guests something more than just the cake.
And I've seen these arranged in a cake-like.
Cake-like, absolutely. And then sometimes you can add in extra cookies or bars or other treats. Chocolate-covered strawberries are always a big hit, too. It's sort of giving the option instead of having all of the one big cake.
Candy bars are still very popular, and that's what you had at your wedding.
I did have a candy bar at the end, there was nothing
Everyone loves
left.
candy bars.
They go quickly. So another thing is this pop of color. Now, tangerine is very, very hot. So be it on any sort of neutral setting, you throw in a tangerine pop of color, it's going to stand out. It's beautiful. Obviously, if it's not your favorite color, you shouldn't be using it.
Right.
But the other thing here is that this is a flowerless bouquet. These are just origami that's been made into a bouquet. Some people don't want to spend a lot of money on the flowers for that part.
Right.
It gets tossed around, it gets ruined, plus this is something that they can keep.
And a lot of people sometimes making a statement like that because they want to be more environmentally conscious.
Exactly. And this
trying to get a message out.
Exactly. And plus you get to keep it forever, so it's nice.
And these are really neat.
These are boutonnieres. This is a cork that's been wrapped with some moss wire. So if you're getting married at a vineyard, which Connecticut has a lot of them, which is great. Here's some buttons with a little bit of a flower put through. And then there's just a really simple, once again, in the natural, just a little clumping on them. Just looks perfect.
That's so pretty, yeah. Now what is this? Because this looks awesome.
So we're sort of stepping away from having, you know, like the big, huge aisle runner. They get, especially for outdoor weddings, they get blown around. They're awful. They don't work that well.
Trip on them.
Exactly. Children fall. Everything can happen. So we're trying to see different ways to decorate your aisle. So having something like this on each of the chairs will also allow your guests that when you're, say I do,
to throw the petals.
Throw petals. Now if your location doesn't allow actual flowers, we have cones that you could put fake ones into onto each chair, allowing once again people to throw something if they wanted to. Or you could just opt for a simple, nice little decoration, put a little pop of color. A lot of outdoor weddings or a lot of churches, everything is either brown or white. And so just that pop of color, once again, this happens to be purple, which was last year's very hot color. So it could be tangerine this year if you wanted it to be.
You can add whatever color you like.
Exactly. So it's all about making something custom and creative.